time-traveling soul creates China's basketball GOAT. Please like, share, and subscribe. Episode 51. First Olympic victory. At the beginning of the second quarter, after Wang Zhelin, who was feeling hot, was focused on by the Kangaroo national men's basketball team, the chance to make a shot became particularly difficult. At the same time, the confrontation of the Kangaroo national men's basketball team pulled the Chinese men's basketball team into the same quagmire as them. Both sides scored very low. In the second quarter, everyone contributed a feast of ironwork. Fortunately, Wang Zhelin, who came off the bench, lived up to expectations. Although he was old and could no longer guard against the inside line on the opposite side, he was still able to stop losses in time for the Tianqiao team with constant scoring. Anyway, the Celestial men's basketball team managed to maintain the score in the end, trailing only 7 points 34-41 after halftime. Hoo-hoo. Damn, those grandchildren are really een. If it weren't for the Olympics, they would be disqualified for fighting. I would have just wiped them out. I'm fucked up. After returning to the bench, in an attack in the second quarter of the game, Zhu Fengyu was broken by Anderson's elbow with an elbow as in the original history, and blood flowed. At that moment, Wang Zhelin could clearly see that whether it was Zhou Peng and Li sitting on the bench, or Sun Yu and Yi Jianlian on the field, they all rushed towards Kangaroo country at almost the same time. The scene at that time saw Wang Zhelin's blood boil, and when he was about to show his teeth and claws to cheer, he was pressed to the ground by the female zodiac sign Ryu, who jumped up from his seat. The fat man weighing nearly 400 pounds made Wang Zhelin lose the room to resist on the spot. When the war was on the verge of breaking out, no one thought that Zhu Fengyu, the party involved, was actually holding back his teammates. The reason is also very simple: this is not a country, and this battle must not be fought. Once the players on both sides start, there is no need to think too much about the end of the game, and they will be disqualified from the competition. Zhu Fengyu's remarks persuaded his teammates. As he said, they have already worked hard until now, and they must not just give up easily. Fortunately, the wound was not as big as it used to be, so Zhu Fengyu just asked the team doctor to simply stop the bleeding and continued playing. Seeing that the battle was finally subsided, the three British referees on the sidelines quickly exhaled. There is no way, whether it is the Kangaroo Nation or the Celestial team, the male basketball players on both sides are notoriously powerful in the international arena. Once they start, the consequences will be unimaginable. Fortunately, the demeanor of an English gentleman has been preserved. In the end, Zhu Fengyu traded for the fourth foul of Anderson, the core insider of Kangaroo country, at the cost of his brows being opened. The coaching staff of Kangaroo country could only temporarily replace him. Just look at it, I won't carve the inside line on the opposite side into a melon baby, and write my king's word upside down. For this victory, the Celestial men's basketball team gave everything, and Wang Zhelin didn't want to disappoint everyone. So, he made a decision, that is, to upgrade the silver level dunk Tianzuan to the gold level. The silver level lottery has too much instability, and improving his talent skills is the most likely way for him to increase his strength. At present, Wang Zhelin's fan value has reached 8.47 million, which is only about 1.5 million away from the gold level lottery. The most important thing is that the stamina of teammates can be restored after the dunk is triggered. This is the most important point. The physical strength pool of the Celestial men's basketball team is notoriously poor. After some operations, the dunk Tianzuan has been upgraded from the silver level to the gold level. Dunk Tianzuan, gold. After making physical contact with the opposing player in the 3-second zone, using the body to force the dunk to increase the dunk success rate to a large extent. The dunk, bounce, and bounce speed can all increase by 7 points within 5 seconds. If the player completes the dunk, it will give teammates an inspirational effect and restore teammates' stamina by 7%. It's only 7%, why not 10%? Wang Zhelin was deeply dissatisfied with this. He originally thought that the boosting effect of Tianzuan's dunking to the gold level should be doubled, but who knew that it was only increased by 2%. You must know that it is not easy to achieve a dunk in an official NBA game. Shaquille O'Neal tops the NBA's all-time dunk list with 4,250 dunks, more than number 2 Sparks and Jordan combined. It seems quite high, but if it is divided by O'Neal's 1,207 career games, that is 3 to 4 deductions per game. The key is that if you want to trigger the inspirational effect, you must make physical contact with the opposing player. If Wang Zhelin is dunking, there is no one around, the talent skill of dunking Tianzuan cannot be triggered. Therefore, some sand sculpture netizens said that the skill of dunking Tianzuan is too perverted, and I hope to weaken it. Wang Zhelin could only laugh, you are still too young, too simple. Dunk is not only a difficult thing to achieve in an official game, but it is also very physical, especially when you want to achieve a physical confrontation. All in all, this wave of upgrades seems to be a bit hasty. Gone. Facts have proved that Deng Huada and Yao Ming's strategy worked. Apart from jumping the ball and making a basket at the beginning, Wang Zhelin rested for almost 2 full quarters. As soon as he came on the court, he was full of energy, and he was wreaking havoc on the basket, directly smashing all the insiders of the Kangaroo country into a sieve. At the end of the third quarter, Kangaroo Nation had no choice but to bring Anderson up in advance, hoping to limit Wang Zhelin's attack at the basket. But who would have thought that Anderson was dunked by Wang Zhelin's naked front within 2 minutes of playing, and was sentenced to a thug foul. And won. At the same time, Anderson also received his 5th foul of the game and was successfully ejected. If David Anderson can be replaced with Bo GTE, then in the Rat Kingdom, Wang Zhelin's performance should be limited a little, but unfortunately it can't be replaced. Since then, there is no one in the Kangaroo country that can resist Wang Zhelin. In the end, the Celestial men's basketball team defeated the Kangaroo national men's basketball team with a 13-point difference and ushered in the first victory in the group stage. After Wang Zhelin came on the court in the second half, he scored 18 points, 15 rebounds, and 4 blocks. He was the primary contributor to the team's reversal. However, the best player of the game was awarded to Wang Zhelin, and his performance in this game convinced everyone. 15 three-pointers, made 9 hits, and scored 27 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. If Wang Zhelin was the main hero in the second half, then Wang Zhelin was the first guy of the game. In the second half, with Wang Zhelin's restraint on the inside, the Kangaroo country players did not dare to double-team Wang Zhelin anymore. The latter made 10 shots in the second half and hit 4 three-pointers. "We won the king, we finally won." Sun Yu, who had suffered a recurrence of her shoulder injury for the sake of winning this game, disregarded her injuries, laughed like a child, and jumped into Wang Zhelin's arms. "Yeah, we finally won." After Wang Zhelin touched Sun Yu's head, he looked at Wang Zhelin, whose eyes were red and tears were about to burst out, and said with great emotion. In his previous life, Wang Zhelin made 7 three-pointers in this game, which was scary enough, but this time he made an even more outrageous 9. However, this effect is inseparable from Wang Zhelin's successful triggering of the encouragement effect twice, restoring 14% of his teammates' stamina, otherwise Wang Zhelin would not have the strength to shoot 15 three-pointers in the audience. Taking too many shots is also a very labor-intensive thing. From this point of view, it is not too much of a loss for the skill of dunking Tianzuan to be upgraded to the gold level. It smells so good. The amazing performance of the veterans Afterglow and the newcomers finally brought an extremely precious victory to the Celestial men's basketball team. 7.58 million. This is about to reach 10 million again? When he woke up the next day, Wang Zhelin suddenly found that he had only more than 3 million fans left, but it had soared to more than 7 million. But soon he knew why. The first victory of the London Olympic men's basketball team. This is the cruelty of sports competition. The winner can have everything, and the loser is destined to be swept into the dust of history. One victory has increased his fan value by more than 4 million. What if there are 2 games? Wang Zhelin began to look forward to the next Brazil team. Episode 52. The Battle of Honor and Dignity, 1/3. On the evening of August 4th, the Celestial men's basketball team ushered in the 4th opponent in the group stage, the South American powerhouse Brazil men's basketball team. The Brazilian team's lineup is also very strong. They have many active NBA players such as the movie king Varejao, Brazil Lightning Brabos, the man who made the league's balls Nene. In terms of strength alone, Brazil is much stronger than the Kangaroo country, and is the well-deserved second in Group B. This time, the Celestial men's basketball team still adopted the strategy of the previous match against the Kangaroo country, leaving Wang Zhelin in the second half of the game before playing. However, the Celestial players may have lost their overall performance in this game because they fought too hard against the Kangaroo country in the last game. Barbosa broke the outside line of the Celestial men's basketball team with only one person. As a last resort, Wang Zhelin could only play on the court halfway through the second quarter. The result is that the distal section is troubled by physical force again, and the performance is not as good as before. From the beginning to the end of this game, the Brazil team did not let the Tianzhou team catch up to less than 10 points, and finally won the game with 95-71. Now if the Chinese men's basketball team still wants to qualify, the only hope is to defeat the last opponent in the group stage, the host, the British men's basketball team. British football is very good, but the men's basketball team is not good. At present, the core of the team is led by active NBA player Roll Deng. Unfortunately, it is still difficult to obtain a win, and it is at the bottom of the group stage, with a 3-game losing streak. For the Celestial men's basketball team, as long as they win this victory, they still have a good chance of qualifying. As for the host, the British men, it is hard to say that this is a battle to defend dignity. If they suffer a 4-game losing streak in the homeland and lose face in front of their parents and villagers, then their team is really not far from disbanding. Although the current record of the British team is a 3-game losing streak, most people still think of the 4 or 6 in the match against the Chinese men's basketball team. The 4th is the Chinese men's basketball team, and the 6th is the British men's basketball team. There is no other reason, just because the British men's basketball team lost only 1 point against the mighty Spanish team in the end, and only 5 points against the South American powerhouse Brazil. Comparing the net loss of the men's basketball team, it is hard not to make people more optimistic about the British men's basketball team. On the evening of August 6, the Chinese men's basketball team will face the last opponent in the group stage, the British men's basketball team. On the one hand, they want to defend their dignity from being shaved, while on the other hand, they want to attack the honor of the quarterfinals. British men's basketball starting: Clark, Roald Dahl, Freeland, Ryan King, and Sullivan. This time, the Celestial men's basketball team did not continue to cover up, and directly brought Wang Zhelin back to the starting position. In a word, it's done. At the beginning of the game, the Tianqiao men's basketball team quickly entered the state. First, Yi Jianlian went to the basket and made a layup, which was a good start. Immediately afterwards, Lu Wei made a breakthrough jumper, Wang Shipeng hit a 3-pointer from the left wing, and the Chinese men's basketball team beat the British men's basketball team 7-0 at the beginning. But the Celestial fans who are following this game are not at all excited, because now everyone is very clear that it has become a norm for the Celestial men's basketball team to start as fierce as a tiger. Only persistence is king. Sure enough, the worries of the Chinese fans quickly came true. Seeing that the Tianqiao men's basketball team felt so hot on the outside, the British men's basketball team strengthened its defense on the outside in time, and achieved good results. First, the core Luo Erdang stole the ball passed by Lu Wei to Yi Jianlian, and assisted Ryan King to hit a 3-pointer from the outside, finally breaking the scoring drought for the team. The game continued, Sun Yu attacked with the ball, and the defender was Luo Erdang. Facing Luo Erdang, Sun Yu did not have any advantage, and it was difficult to make progress. Fortunately, Yi Jianlian stepped forward and made a pick-and-roll in time. Sun Yu chose to shoot quickly after taking cover. Snapped. The basket rejected Sun Yu, and Sullivan won the rebound. At this time, Wang Zhelin clearly noticed that Sun Yu rubbed his shoulders unconsciously after shooting. It seems that the shoulder injury has a great impact on Sun Yu. Sullivan won the basketball and quickly passed it to Luo Erdang, who took the ball to the front court and directly chose to grab the third, hitting the Tianqiao men's basketball team. Shoo! Luo Erdang hit a 3-pointer, and the difference between the two teams was only 1 point. After all, Luo Erdang is a ruthless character who can play a starting position in the NBA. He averages 15 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 2.9 assists per game. Compared with the outside line of the Tianqiao men's basketball team, his performance is like a superstar. Sun, stop attacking with the ball, give the ball to your king. Hua Dang shouted to Sun Yu on the sidelines. In the next round, according to the coach's instructions, Sun Yu was successfully handed over to Wang Zhelin. Facing Sullivan's defense, Wang Zhelin continued to exert his strength and clicked a few times. Seeing that the position was getting deeper and deeper, the continuous turns around the basket shook the defender's center of gravity, and then took the opportunity to make a backhand layup. 9:6. In fact, Wang Zhelin had a chance to dunk, but for the sake of physical strength, he chose a more relaxed layup. Now he must learn how to better distribute his physical energy. Luo Erdang knew that his own advantage was on the outside, while the advantage of the Celestial men's basketball team was on the inside, so they consciously increased their rhythm and wanted to drain the physical strength of Wang Zhelin and others faster. After the 3 quarters, the two sides were still struggling, and neither of them could easily open up the points difference. At the beginning of the crucial 4th quarter, Wang Kazuba's perimeter combination suddenly rained 3-pointers, each hitting a 3-pointer to help the team lead the British men's basketball team by 8 points 62-54. The biggest point difference between the two teams so far came so unexpectedly that the British men's basketball team panicked and began to bet on 3 points on the outside. It is a pity that anxiety not only cannot solve the problem in the attack, but it is very likely to lead to a worse situation. The British men's basketball team began to strike frequently, while the Chinese men's basketball team consciously began to grind time, focusing on the hit rate. Even if they couldn't score, they would run out of attack time. Now the lineup of the Celestial men's basketball team has become 1 big and 4 small. The player at the center is Wang Zhizhi, and the other positions are Chen Jianghua, Wang Shipeng, Zhu Fengyu, and Ding Jinhui. As for Yi Jianlian and Wang Zhelin, the former had to take a break due to fouls, while the latter was exhausted, and all the pressure came to Wang Zhizhi. Fortunately, Deji is always trustworthy. I saw that he first showed agile footwork under the basket, got rid of the 2 defenses, and then made a layup with a low hand. Clark, give me the ball. Just after halftime, Roald Dahl asked for the ball. The time left for the British team was running out. After seeing that the tactics were ineffective, Roald Dahl decided to use his personal ability to break the ice for the team. For the dignity of England, this game must not be lost. Although he has a bad touch, he can still use his breakthrough to create free throws and break the deadlock for the team. Wang Zhelin and Zhu Fengyu took turns to go into battle, but they still couldn't stop Luo Erdang's massacre. Seeing that the score was chased to 64-58, Yao Ming on the side couldn't help shaking his head. The strength of the two sides is still too great, and no one in the Tianqiao men's basketball team can stop Luo Erdang. Perhaps Sun Yu was able to restrain him a little before, but now his shoulder injury has recurred. Just as Deng Huada was about to replace Yi Jianlian and Wang Zhelin to fight for his life, Wang Zhizhi on the field waved and interrupted him. This? Huada Deng was a little embarrassed all of a sudden. Wait a minute, I believe it's roughly. Yao Ming's light-hearted words made his position clear. All right. Now that the boss has made a statement, Huada Deng can only let go. Don't look at him as the men's basketball coach on the surface, but in fact, the person who can really call the shots is the big fat man in front of him. Episode 53. Thanks to the British Old Iron for the. When it was time for the Tianqiao team to attack, the basketball continued to be handed over to Wang Zhizhi, who was the most confident. The moment Wang Zhizhi caught the ball, he quickly turned around and wiped off the British team's backup center, Mansa Bonsu, who caught the opponent by surprise. Luo Deng, who came to the basket and came over with the help of defense, struggled to put the ball into the basket. It's hard to believe that this series of actions came from a 35-year-old veteran. Nice shot. Roughly mighty. Brilliant. When the teammates on the sidelines saw that Wang Zhizhi lived up to expectations and opened the score again, they waved the towel and kicked the bench. Everyone was cheering for Wang Zhizhi in their own way. Beep beep beep. Seeing that the team was in an infinite loop, the head coach of the British team quickly called a timeout, but he didn't know that the timeout also gave the men's basketball team a chance to breathe. After the suspension came back, both teams made personnel adjustments. The Tianqiao men's basketball team was replaced by Yi Jianlian and Wang Zhelin. Even if Wang Zhelin can no longer carry out an effective attack, he has a tonnage after all, and as long as he stands in the restricted area, it is a deterrent. On the British side, a full starting lineup was replaced, and everyone knew that it was time to work hard. In the final bayonet fight, the two sides tried their best. Unfortunately, since the Tianqiao men's basketball team hit 2 3-pointers at the beginning of the fourth quarter, the tone of the game has been set. The hole in the front is too big, and it will be difficult for the people behind to make it up. In the end, the Tianqiao men's basketball team defeated the host British team 73-68 and won the second victory of the group stage. As the loser, Luo Erdang looked at the ecstatic Chinese men's basketball team opposite him, and his heart was extremely desolate. Obviously he has done everything he can, but he is still unable to bring a victory to the team. Shame. Since the formation of the British national men's basketball team, they have participated in the Olympic Games twice in total, in the 1984 London Olympics and this year's Olympics. If it wasn't for the host's privilege, the British men's basketball team would not have qualified for the Olympics. After more than half a century of waiting, London finally has the opportunity to host the Olympic Games for the second time. As the leader of this men's basketball team, Luo Erdang hopes that the team can break the Olympic men's basketball project's 0 wins so far under his leadership. An embarrassing record, and a long face in front of my parents and folks. Unfortunately, he still lost. Now the British team has only the last game left in the group stage, and the opponent is the kangaroo country. Luo Erdang secretly swore in his heart, the last hope must be grasped, and I will definitely bring a victory to the country. The group stage of the celestial men's basketball team has been completed, but they still do not dare to relax in the slightest. Although it is said that they have won 2 games in the group stage, it stands to reason that there is at least an 80% chance of qualifying, but until the game of the 6 teams in the group is completely settled, everything is unknown. At present, there is only the last game left in Group B, which is a contest between England and Kangaroo Country. This game will be played in the early morning. After losing 3 straight defeats to Brazil, Spain, and China, the Kangaroo nation was ashamed and courageous, bursting out with astonishing power to kill Russia, and won the first victory in the group stage. If the Kangaroo Country wins this game, then there will be a situation in which China, the Kangaroo Country, and the Russian country both have 2 wins. At that time, the 3 teams with the same points will decide who can qualify through the small points. The so-called small score is to compare the number of points lost between the 2 teams in the group stage. More exits, fewer exits. This is very unfavorable for the Chinese men's basketball team. If the UK wins, then the Kangaroo Country and the UK will become the same winning situation, and naturally become the bottom 2 teams in Group B. In that case, the Chinese team and the Russian team with 2 wins will successfully qualify for the quarterfinals. Therefore, this game is also particularly important, and it can even be said that the hope of qualifying is in the hands of others. In the last game, the United Kingdom was a life-and-death opponent, and this time I wished that the United Kingdom would win, This feeling is really amazing. When the match between the UK and the kangaroo country started, the Chinese team and the Russian team appeared in the spectators at the same time. Yao Ming, the team leader, glanced at Russia with a bright smile, and Kirilenko, the team leader and captain of Russia, immediately responded with an embarrassing but decent smile. Haha. It is more than words. Regardless of all aspects of this game, the final winner is most likely to be the kangaroo country. The key to the British team's first victory in Olympic history lies in the core of the team, roll dang. Give me the ball for this game, and I'll take you home. After throwing a classic NBA famous quote, Luo Er Deng went on the court in a dashing manner, leaving his teammates behind to look at each other in dismay. Captain, what kind of home are you going back to? This is our home. The words were very nice, but after the game started, the British team faced the Kangaroo Nation who wanted to win and qualify, and the latter beat them 15-8 in the first quarter. In the second quarter, the two sides changed into a rotation lineup, and the rhythm was still dominated by defense. No matter what, they just couldn't let the opponent score easily. I won't score. I don't care. You can't score anyway. It doesn't matter whether the game is good or not, the flow is not smooth, winning is the key. At the end of the half, the kangaroo country led England by 11 points, 32-21. Luo Deng knew that if the pace continued, the British team would definitely lose this game. Well, the Chinese team and the Russian team on the side also thought so. They were anxious, especially Kirilenko and Yao Ming. They were so hot that they took off their jackets. I can't play tactics anymore, and if I want to play TMD's tactics, it's better for me to play singles. Yes, I'll play singles. I myself am the tactic. With the last stubbornness, Luo Er Deng took on the stage this time. Facts have proved that his decision was correct. After this time on the court, Luo Er Deng felt a kind of power hidden in the depths of his body constantly accumulating. He couldn't help but close his eyes and recalled, I learned basketball since I was a child, and when I grew up, I crossed the mountains and the sea, and went to the United States, thousands of miles away, to pursue the basketball dream. When he opened his eyes again, his eyes flashed with confidence, and his hair almost stood up. Super Roll Deng is here. In the second half, Luo Er Deng completely became his own performance time. Whether he was shooting from the inside or the outside, he was a god. He played a performance that was not inferior to any top perimeter player in the international arena. In the end, Luo Deng scored 42 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals, and 0 assists with his off-the-beaten-track scoring. Roll Deng. Roll Deng. In the cheers of the audience, Roll Deng successfully surpassed the record of 41 points set by Guerrero, the captain of the Mexican men's basketball team in 1976, and ranked 4th in the Olympic men's basketball individual single-game scoring list. It is worth mentioning that when Yao Ming faced New Zealand in the 2004 Athens Olympic Games, he also scored 39 points on the spot, ranking 7th in the Olympic men's basketball individual single-game rankings. But none of that matters anymore. The important thing is that both the Chinese team and the Russian team successfully qualified. The British team is awesome. Luo Deng is awesome. The players of the two teams who were watching the game on the sidelines jumped up excitedly. Those who didn't know it thought they scored 42 points in a single game. After the game, both the Chinese men's basketball team and the Russian players immediately stood up and applauded, thanking the United Kingdom and the kangaroo country for contributing such a wonderful game. Really worthwhile trip. Episode 54. Ended again with the 8th, 3/3. Although it was a bit unexpected for the UK to defeat the kangaroo country, it is not unacceptable. At the World Championships 2 years ago, the Spanish team, which is recognized as second only to the United States in the basketball world, was unexpectedly beaten by Russia. Everyone is like this in Spain. What is your kangaroo country? Basketball is round, and anything can happen. We've qualified, we're the top 8. Taking stock of the super rookies in this Olympic group stage, the future of the celestial men's basketball team can be expected. Nothing can stop the rise of the Chinese men's basketball team. Yao Ming is gone, and Wang Zhelin. Envy Zhao Ryu, I'm still here. In the early morning of the next day, the United Kingdom defeated the kangaroo country in an upset, and the news that the two countries were in the top 8 had spread all over the world. For celestial fans, they feel that the ups and downs of life are really exciting. When they were drawn in the group stage and placed in Group B, many people said that it was the group of death. Just after the three-quarter battle against the Spanish men's basketball team was defeated, many people said that the strength of the Chinese men's basketball team was still there, and a wave of losing streak followed. After winning the stronger Australia, they lost to Russia, which is similar in strength. Now, the Chinese men's basketball team has successfully qualified for the group stage, and has been promoted to the top 8 in the Olympic Games for the third time in history under the condition of not being favored by everyone. The ups and downs have tested the fans' hearts too much. People are in good spirits on happy occasions. On the occasion of this great joy, From the start of the group stage to the present, the Celestial men's basketball team, which has not been interviewed by the media, has also held an unprecedented one. No matter where they go, Chinese players will never lack attention. When the time for the interview meeting was announced, the media from all over the world rushed to the scene like sharks smelling delicious blood. Yao, now the outside world is saying that your country's men's basketball team was a bargain, and it was a fluke to enter the top 8 in the Olympics. What do you want to say about this statement? A certain Yao glanced casually. Oh, so it's from the great cold nether kingdom. Yao, please answer my question, did we guess it? Good guy, this guy knows how to pull everyone around him into the water. Mind you, only you can ask this kind of question on such a happy day. Soon, the reporters from Britain, France, Germany, and other countries who were present all subconsciously took a step towards the cold country female reporter. What do you mean by lying? I can't accept your statement. In my opinion, this result is what we deserve, and it is the crystallization of the unremitting efforts of every athlete in the Chinese men's basketball team. I will not allow anyone to defile its sanctity. In the face of the cold country, which is famous for its lack of face, Yao Ming's usual good temper has disappeared, and he is directly domineering. I don't think any of you here would have such a weird idea like your frigid country. The time has come to take a stand, and the reporters from other countries around me are also very respectful. Of course not. The Chinese men's basketball team can enter the top 8, the fundamental reason is its own tough strength. Even if you want to lie down, you have to have the strength to enter the Olympic men's basketball roster. Unlike a certain country, you can't even rush out of Asia. Apart from the fact that the people of the Han country believe that the universe belongs to them, in the international arena, no people of any country are willing to take the risk of offending the Celestial dynasty to support the cold country. Not to mention the body, even verbal support is not willing. No, maybe you can think about it physically. The female reporter from the cold country did not expect that the backstab of the teammate would come so unexpectedly. Okay, security, please go out and calm down this lady. It seems that she didn't sleep well last night. Let her go back and make up for a beauty sleep. Yao Ming waved his hand and issued an expulsion order. Once the spoiler left, the scene became more orderly. Yao Ming's witty remarks from time to time, the host and the guest are happy and talk a lot. After the media interview meeting, it was time for the commendation meeting within the men's basketball team. On the podium, a fat and oily basket tube center official was giving a long speech there, thinking that the school leaders of the student days were holding the opening ceremony. The same smelly and long. Most of the players yawned, slept on their stomachs, and played with their mobile phones. Only Yao Ming, Wang Zhelin, and Zhu Fengyu sat upright on the small bench and listened carefully. As expected of a big man who entered the management team or directly led the national team after retiring, I admire him. As for Wang Zhelin, at first he listened to the lectures like a good student, but later found that the leaders above were just repeating a few words. Let's still be salted fish, politics doesn't seem to be suitable for us. On August 7th, it was time for the announcement of the quarterfinal battle list. Except for the Celestial men's basketball team, the remaining 7 teams all hope that they can meet the Celestial team. There's no way, who can let the men's basketball team bully the best? Even the US Dream 10 team, who has always looked up at the nostrils, is like this. If you can meet the men's basketball team of China, it would be good to rest early. This time, everyone agreed that the Olympic journey of the Chinese men's basketball team is over. The quarterfinals have been grouped out. 8-8 Russia vs Lithuania. 8-8 France vs Spain. 8-9 Brazil vs Argentina. 8-9 US vs China. Dream 10 team lineup. Point guards, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, Darren Williams. Shooting guards, Kobe Bryant, James Harden. Forwards, Carmelo Anthony, Kevin Durant, Andre Iguodala, LeBron James. Centers, Tyson Chandler, Blake Griffin, Kevin Love. The Celestial men's basketball team stepped on the corpse of the kangaroo country and reached the top 8. As in the latter's original history, they encountered the dimensionality reduction blow of the Dream Team in the first game of the quarterfinals. This time, there is really no room for struggle. In fact, even if you meet the other 6 teams, you will only lose more and lose less. 66:103. Lost, the Tianqiao men's basketball team lost a full 37 points to the Dream Team 10. Is this the Dream Team? Nima is outrageous. Looking at the Dream Team with a minimum score of 85 plus or above, and even more 95 plus bosses such as Kobe, James, Durant, Anthony, etc., Wang Zhelin was speechless. I really don't know what kind of tricks Larry Brown did at the 2004 Athens Olympics to make Dream 6 lose to Argentina. Argentina led by the Pampas Condor is very strong, but everyone knows that the reason why the Dream Team defeated Athens is more because of internal problems. Although the Tianqiao men's basketball team still lost this game, Wang Zhelin became the most beautiful boy in the game. Facing the defense of the Dream Team, Yi Jianlian was restricted and lost himself, and only got 8 points and 5 rebounds. On the contrary, it was the young Wang Zhelin who scored 15 points and 12 rebounds in the whole game under the defense of the champion. 2 pairs of data. As for Griffin and Love, everyone knows that those two buddies have little defense. When hugging after the game with the Dream Team, it was obviously the first time we met, but James patted Wang Zhelin on the shoulder very kindly and said, "Man, I'm LeBron, your performance is really great, the Cavaliers didn't choose you. It's really a big loss, and I hope to have the opportunity to play with you in the future. By the way, I heard that your nickname is also King, and it just so happens that I am too. In the future, you will be a king in the NBA, and I will be a king in the outside. It seems that we are a natural pair. How are you? We don't seem to know each other well, buddy. This is the first time we met. Are you worthy of Wei Wei? Well, it looks like Wade didn't come this time. I'll just say." After successfully qualifying for the group stage, facing the other top 7 opponents in the ranking battle, the Celestial men's basketball team did not win a game and finally ranked 8th, ending the trip to the London Olympics. At the press conference at the end of the Olympic Games, the national team's starting point guard Lu Wei, Wang Shipeng and Zhu Fengyu, the pair of front and back guards who have been competing in the international arena and fighting for the country for nearly 10 years, officially announced that they would not participate in any future World Championships and the Olympics. Episode 55. Hit the spark. Wang Zhelin knew long ago that every athlete will eventually retire. It's true that the teammates who were still fighting side by side a few days ago felt a little uncomfortable when they announced their farewell to the basketball court today. Among the current teammates, Sun Yu can still contribute a few blocks on the field, but his shoulder injury has been committed again and again, and he does not know how many layers of skills he will have in the World Championships 2 years later. There is also Chen Jianghua, who has won 10+ in a single game many times in this Olympic Games. Originally, he placed too much high hopes on him. Fans expected him to become the Celestial Iverson and the first world-class defender of the Celestial dynasty. If it wasn't for that injury, he'd been honed and grown, maybe all of this could have come true. It's a pity that this Olympic Games is his last return. After that, Chen Jianghua was never called up by the national team again. He is only 23 years old. 08 After the golden generation gradually withered away, although there is still one Yi Jianlian, but as long as you think of the teammates of the national team, you will become Guo Ailuan and Zhou Qi. It's a bit difficult. At London International Airport, Wang Zhelin was seeing off his teammates, one by one. It is rare for his parents to go abroad once. If he wants to play in the UK for a few days, Wang Zhelin naturally has to stay with him. Otherwise, when the NBA starts, his parents don't want to settle in the United States, and then they will really be divided. Brother Peng, you are only 29, why don't you play for a few more years? I'm going to take you to the medals in the Rio Olympics in 4 years' time. After hugging Wang Qizhu Baiyi, Wang Zhelin couldn't help but persuade. Come on, the two of us are not young after all, you can let us go. Besides, there are Arab League and Huazi to accompany you, and you are afraid that the national team will not be there. Zhu Fengyu was non-committal about Wang Zhelin's words, but the refusal was still very firm. Okay. I wish you a smooth journey. Great sage, remember to take good care of your body. After 2 years of the World Championships, the defense on the outside will depend on you. And Huazi, remember to strengthen your strength training when you go back, or you will die if you play breakout style with that body. Regarding Wang Zhelin's advice, Sun Yu just responded perfunctorily and boarded the plane, but Chen Jianghua was thinking seriously. It's not necessary. You need to build muscle when you practice strength. I'm worried that it will affect my speed. Chen Jianghua was reluctant. Why is it unnecessary? I know your idol is Iverson, but he originally played rugby. In addition to speed, his body is also a lever. You just have speed. Learning Iverson's breakthrough is to play 7 hurt fists, hurt others first, hurt yourself. Alright. Thanks to Wang Zhelin's heroic performance in the Olympic Games when he joined the national team for the first time, all his teammates acquiesced of his future potential and his status as the number 2 person after Yi Jianlian, so Chen Jianghua took his words more seriously. Go away, see you next time. If I don't see you getting stronger, I will definitely let Brother Yao kick you out of the national team. Okay, can't I go back to practice? Goodbye. Chen Jianghua also knew that Wang Zhelin was joking with himself, and boarded the plane with a smile. Oh, I really hope you can hear it. After talking so much with Chen Jianghua, I completely felt that the other party was only 23 and should still be saved, but whether or not to practice is someone else's business. Anyway, I have tried my best. After delivering Yi Jianlian and Wang Zhiji, Wang Zhelin and his parents went back to discuss the strategy for a 7-day tour of the UK. Through the summer. Sadness is not better. Driving on the endless road. Feel like leaving. Can't finish a song. Tired with dark circles left. It was already August 20th, and it was the handover of summer and autumn. It has been more than 10 days since the men's basketball game. Wang Zhelin accompanied his parents to play until the 13th and watched the closing ceremony of the Olympic Games, so he sent the second old man back to his hometown of Fujian. It's just that after returning home this time, Wang Zhelin also gave basically all the money he earned to his parents to buy a house. Yes, it's buying a house. In his last life, Wang Zhelin died in a fat house, and he didn't have any female votes. Why should he ask for more? But he was quite sure about one thing. That's the price. The house is like chasing a girl. If you like it, you should do it. Don't expect better things to come. If you don't start sooner, you can only watch the house price go up in the future. Therefore, later people have said this, the best time to buy a house is 10 years ago, followed by now. Besides, Wang Zhelin felt that if he didn't take the political path like Yao Ming after he retired, it would be a good choice to reluctantly become a charterer. Every day I drank a little wine and walked the dog, and I could make a phone call to urge the rent every day. It was a nice day. If it wasn't for his pockets that limited his performance, he would have gone to the urban areas of Beijing, Mo, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen to buy a house. No, after this season, let Uncle Zhou do more advertising. Next year, I have to go to Xiong'an to buy some land. On August 24th, Wang Zhelin and Tom Bruce, who had finally settled all business activities, flew directly to Portland, the United States. As early as after the draft, Wang Zhelin had asked Zhou Yang to choose an address near the Rose Garden Arena, and he went straight to his new home after getting off the plane. This is a private villa, and the most important thing is that it has a private basketball court and a strength room, which is just enough to satisfy Wang Zhelin's idea of training at home occasionally. At this point, the NBA games for the 2012-13 season were announced as early as mid-July. The preseason of this season will start on October 10th, and the first team player of the Blazers is the Los Angeles Lakers of the Purple and Gold, who have just formed the F4 team. On August 11th, Howard and Nash joined the team, and the Lakers formed a new F4 team. Yu reading www.uukanshoot.com. First, Nash officially joined the Lakers as a free agent, and the Lakers got the league's first center Howard in a big deal involving 4 teams. So far, the Lakers have formed a new F4 combination headed by Nash, Kobe, Gasol, and Howard. Obviously, the Lakers management wants to take advantage of Kobe Bryant's peak and create a winning lineup for the last time to hit the championship. This operation of the Lakers is indeed infinitely imaginative, imagining the revival of the Lakers, imagining Kobe's second championship, imagining that the Lakers can tie the historic enemy Celtics record of 17 championships. At this time, it has only been 2 years since Howard's single core led the team to the championship. Warcraft, who was in his playing year, was undoubtedly the first center in the league that year. When I thought that I was going to fight with the peak monster next time, I was more excited than nervous. Others don't know, Wang Zhelin still doesn't know? Joining the Lakers was a turning point in Howard's career. After staying in Angel City for a year, he would leave Houston. After that, the rivers and lakes would no longer be called Warcraft. In Wang Zhelin's heart, he also has a huge ambition. Instead of letting Sparks lose the throne of the #1 center due to injury, it is better to squeeze him out by himself. Without the baptism of blood, such a climb to the top is soulless. Presumably, Sparks would also prefer such a closing ceremony. Now there is still a full month and a half before the preseason, and he has to make good use of this time. Looking at the 10.17 million fans in the system space, Wang Zhelin is full of expectations for his own evolution. Monster, right? The first center, right? Your strongest challenger is coming. Episode 56. Targeted Training. Star Card, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, 2005-2006 season version. Team, Sacramento Kings. Age, 29. Position, power forward. Height, 206 centimeters. Weight, 104 kilograms. Body hidden attributes. Lower body strength, 68. Upper body strength, 65. Offensive ability. Hits, 88. Layups, 80. Mid-range, 83. Long-range, 60. Dunks, 63. Passes, 62. Possession, 68. Free throws, 86. Breakthrough, 65. Defensive ability. External defense, 40. Internal defense, 52. Overall rating, 73. Rotating core. Evaluation. The number 3 pick in 1996, the mid-range cast is excellent among power forwards, with a certain ability to make three-pointers, and one of the best power forwards in the NBA, basically relying on skills and feel to beat the world. This is a textbook academy send a power forward. Weaknesses. He has been plagued by injuries all the year round and has never proved himself in the playoffs. Talent skills. Overlord of the restricted area, silver. Increases shooting ability by 4 points when backing offense in the 3-second zone. As a former all-star power forward in the NBA, Raheem naturally has his own talent and skills, but his level may have dropped due to the late stage of his career. This Raheem star card was drawn by Wang Zhelin at the cost of 10 million fans. To be honest, Wang Zhelin feels that his current offensive ability is sufficient, and what he wants to draw most is a defensive inside star card. After all, it is no longer the era when the super inside line was rampant, and high-quality inside line players are very scarce now. If the current NBA interior players are divided into grades, the first position is undoubtedly Howard, the league's top center, then Gasol Jr., who played against him in the Olympic Games, can be ranked in the second position. Shaquille's defensive ability is definitely stronger than his offensive ability. In the next season, he will even be selected for the All-NBA second team and defensive second team. But despite this, with plenty of physical strength, Shaquille still couldn't prevent Wang Zhelin's strong attack at the basket, and what he could do was only limited. This shows how serious the decline of interior players is now. Therefore, Wang Zhelin wanted to draw a golden card for defensive inside players. In his opinion, both offense and defense require physical support, but when comparing the two, the defender needs to consume more physical strength. After all, offense can sometimes rely on touch, while defense requires full concentration. A good defender never dares to relax for a moment when facing an enemy player. In addition, most of the player cards he has drawn are from the later stages of his career or even the last years of his career, so he dares to judge the physical strength of defensive players. In most cases, it is better than the physical strength of offensive players. Of course, geeks like Marshall and Abdul-Jabbar are another matter. But now the system has sorted this out for him. Is this the so-called offense is the best defense? He clearly wants to be a player who is good at both offense and defense, so why can't he be allowed to do so? In fact, with O'Neal's static talent and Big McGee's running and jumping ability during the Warriors period, Wang Zhelin can practice defense by himself. It's just because he got it through the system. If he wants to get a second boost in his original ability, he has to put in more effort. Let's just put it this way, the training difficulty for an average basketball player to improve his defensive ability is 1, so Wang Zhelin is 1.5. If it is obtained through the system, the training difficulty is infinitely close to 0. Well, to put it bluntly, I'm still lazy. Forget it, let's train honestly. Perhaps only through our own efforts can we cherish the results more. Yes, it is like that. Seeing that it was hopeless to improve his defensive ability through the system, Wang Zhelin could only honestly carry out the training plan that Tom Bruce made for him. After thinking about it, Wang Zhelin also felt that the lottery was not too bad. Just a talent skill has already helped him stop a wave of blood, not to mention Raheem's superb offensive skills. It took others more than 10 or 20 years to polish the technology, but he can successfully inherit it in just a few months. Expensive is still expensive. Hey, Uncle Joe, help me find the game and training videos of Sharif Abdul-Rahim, the third overall pick of the NBA '96 Golden Generation, and give priority to the Kings era. Okay, I'll help you find it as soon as possible. After finally watching O'Neal's film, Wang Zhelin ushered in Raheem's film. I don't know if my little brother can withstand this second wave of damage. Score depends on talent, defense depends on attitude. This is a phrase that has been widely circulated on the basketball court. According to Tom Bruce, defense has 5 elements: physical fitness, basic defensive skills, personal experience, and willingness to defend. If you just want to be a good defender, you can do it through hard training. And if you want to be a top defender, you need superhuman talent. It just so happens that Wang Zhelin has the talent to become a top defender. Wang Zhelin's physical fitness is quite good, and his strength is even more amazing. Other physical conditions such as wingspan that have a bonus to defensive ability are among the top players in the interior. Coupled with the fact that he is a team player with a strong will to defend and is willing to work hard, Tom Bruce feels that his employer has all the prerequisites to become a good defensive player now. Wang Zhelin is poor is the basic defensive skills and experience. Then for the next month and a half, Wang Zhelin mainly practiced basic defensive skills, and Tim Duncan is famous for his basic skills in the NBA. There is no end to the practice of basic skills. Seeing more, learning more, practicing more, and using more. If you do these 4 points, the basic skills will be continuously improved. As for the experience, the fastest way to gain experience is naturally to fight against NBA-level players on the court. In addition, it is also very necessary to study the theory of defense, study the videotapes of various offensive players in the league, and observe the movement characteristics of each player. Back then, Kobe worked it, and Michael Jordan's game videos were not just offensive skills he just learned, but defense as well. On offense and defense, Kobe Bryant has achieved the ultimate physical fitness. This is why everyone agrees that Kobe is the second best all-time shooting guard after Michael Jordan. After listening to the plan that Tom Bruce made for him, Wang Zhelin realized that he had to do so much work in order to achieve a certain height on the defensive end. In the days that followed, Wang Zhelin needed targeted training items, physical fitness, defense, and strength. Before the new season is coming, he needs to convert his talent into strength as much as possible. Then, burn my youth. When the new leaves sprout and the new spring comes, it is the climax of youth and the most active moment of burning. Wang Zhelin has gradually realized one thing: even if it is the system, it may leave him one day, and only hard work will never betray others. Episode 57. Portland at 4 a.m. It's raining. The next morning, 8 o'clock. Tom Bruce began to tell Wang Zhelin about the first stage of the training plan. King, basketball requires strong physical support all the time, and your biggest flaw right now happens to be physical insufficiency, so we have to start with physical training first. Then what are we going to start with? Running? Well, please forgive Wang Zhelin's poor knowledge of physical training. In his opinion, running is the best physical training. Your statement is actually correct, but it's a bit too general. It seems that I need to briefly talk to you about what is the body. ABA. After listening to Tom Bruce's tirade, Wang Zhelin was stunned. These things were separated into letters, but he understood what they meant, but if they were combined, he couldn't understand them. Come on, learning mathematics wasn't that difficult back then. After all, if you don't know anything about mathematics, you really won't, no matter how anxious you are. He was able to hear a little bit of what Tom Bruce said, but this state of being on the top and bottom is the most uncomfortable. Seeing that Wang Zhelin didn't seem to be interested in his theory, Tom Bruce wisely ended the popular science. Alas, another illiterate. Immediately after Tumraf said he took out a notebook, Wang Zhelin leaned over to take a look. Oh, it's a training plan, and take a closer look. The entire notebook was densely packed, and the words felt like dancing. Wang Zhelin immediately said, "Brother, I'll give you the 200+ kilograms of meat. If you like to play with it, let's hurry up and start training. First start doing aerobic training in the morning, and anaerobic training in the afternoon. You can also do physical training, together with strength training. There is not much difference between the two. The first stage lasts for 6 days, and is considered adaptive training. Over time, I will observe the changes in your various data, and after the first stage of training is over, I will make appropriate adjustments based on your body's absorption capacity." Okay, I'll wait for your words. Time went round and round, and it soon came to September 12th. Wang Zhelin's training plan has been going on for nearly half a month, and now he has to temporarily suspend the plan because he is about to report to the team. The Blazers are a young team. They have made the playoffs for 3 consecutive seasons in the past few years. Only last season, because of the injury of Aldridge, the core of the team caused them to miss the Western Conference season. Playoffs. This year, the team not only selected 2 potential rookies, but also Aldridge has recovered. The Blazers management naturally has greater expectations for this season. As early as mid to late August, players who were on vacation also began to report back to the team one after another, preparing for the preseason and regular season. However, because of the Olympics and special training, Wang Zhelin was regarded as the last group to come back. Okay, now I announce that the second stage of the special training plan is officially over. The third stage of the special training will not continue until you finish reporting on the team. After Wang Zhelin completed the last set of ankle weight-bearing foot training today, Tom Bruce announced the end of the second stage of the special training plan. Who? After putting down the weight in his body, Wang Zhelin took the towel and wiped off his sweat. Did you know, buddy, your growth rate and training efficiency are definitely in the top 5 among all the athletes I've seen, and I don't know if your physique is naturally absorbed faster than other athletes. Of course, or maybe my training plan is too perfect, we can't rule out this possibility, right? After a serious moment, Tom Bruce's stinky character was revealed again. Okay, I know you are the best trainer, otherwise I wouldn't invite you. Knowing that this guy is the type to eat soft and not hard, Wang Zhelin would choose to walk him obediently at this time. I actually think so too. Ignoring this teasing, Wang Zhelin put away his things and prepared to take a bath, trying to get a good night's sleep. Tomorrow, he is going to meet his teammates for the first time. He wants to be the first person to show up. By the way, he will also see 4 o'clock in the morning in Portland. Fuck, it's rare that I'm willing to get up so early, but it's raining. Went out early in the morning, just to pretend to be in front of his teammates. Let them know how hard the Chinese players are usually. Wang Zhelin encountered a heavy rain halfway through the drive. He almost forgot that Portland's climate is Mediterranean and maritime, with at least 155 rainy days per year in general. This reminded him of the time when he was a university student in Lupanshui City. That place is not so much the cool capital, but rather the fog city. At least 12 or 3 days in a month are foggy days, and after staying for a long time, I am afraid of rheumatism. Apart from the 5 basic friends in the dormitory and the twin ponytails of the junior girl, there are no good memories there anymore. At around 4:30 in the morning, Wang Zhelin finally arrived at the Blazers training base, which is inside the Rose Garden Arena. The first thing I saw when I entered the door was the team training of the Trailblazers, which roughly translates to, "No one is born a champion. You want to win the championship, you have to win by yourself." Go in a little more, and you can see the Trailblazers' Wall of Honor. The most prominent one is that the team won the playoffs for the first time in team history under the leadership of Bill Walton in 1977. The only NBA championship trophy. Going further inside is the locker room and basketball training hall. Coming to the locker room, he quickly found Aldridge's position and Lillard on the opposite side. Oh, it seems that Lee's guidance has been here for a while. The position of these two people is right in the first of the two rows of cabinets. Just as Wang Zhelin hesitated to sit there, he suddenly found that there was a seat in the middle of the two rows of seats, and the cabinets there happened to be unused. There is a 3 label on the top of the cabinet, which seems to be the position of Elvis Wallace last season. Originally, Wang Zhelin really wanted to make friends with Gerald Wallace. After all, Elvis was only selected to the NBA All-Defensive First Team 2 years ago. He can be said to be the best defensive player of the Blazers. He originally planned to ask the opponent for advice. Defensive experience. It is a pity that in mid-March this year, in a trade between the Trailblazers and the Nets, the former sent Wallace to the Nets in exchange for Mehmet Okur and Sean Williams, as well as a victim. Protected 2012 first-round pick. However, after the Blazers signed J.J. Hickson, they also waived the injury-riddled former All-Star center Okur. This place should belong to me. Soon, Wang Zhelin locked his locker room position for the next 4 years, and went forward to tear off the number 3 label and put on his number 36. After getting it done, Wang Zhelin put on his equipment and went into the arena to warm up. Episode 58. Shoot him in the way he knows best. Before the teammates came to the arena, Wang Zhelin practiced and rested in the arena alone. First, go to the physical training hall for a warm-up session, several sets of ligament stretching, plus shoulder press, plus prone leg bending. After warming up, I went to the court for mid-range shooting training. Originally, his mid-range shooting ability was only 74, which he inherited from Jermaine O'Neal. Although it was good, it was still far worse than Raheem's 83. According to the ability rating given by the system, 83 was in the middle. The pitcher is already a top pitcher. Under the double-doubling of binge-watching movies and crazy special training, I finally raised the CIC to 78, which is 2 points away from the 80 mark. We must hurry up and strive to become a CIC before the regular season officially starts. Pretty boy. Looking at the current NBA interior players, apart from Aldridge of the same team, there will never be more than 10 other than the first-class ability in mid-range shooting, and they can reach the 90-plus marksman level, the entire league. I am afraid it will not exceed the number of 5 fingers. The dumb percentage counts as 1. Driver is also a percentage. Ade should also be counted as 1. Then he couldn't remember who else was. After practicing for a few more hours, the time came to 7:30, and the door of the training ground was finally pushed open. Wow, man, how long have you been practicing here alone? As the leading star of the Blazers, Aldridge returned to the team as early as the end of August. Last season, because of the injury, the team's good trend of advancing to the playoffs for 3 consecutive years was interrupted, and Aldridge was naturally very unwilling. This season, the team's general manager Alcee Hedgie talked about the team's selection of 2 promising newcomers this year. Lillard, who plays outside, has seen it. Not only is he extremely powerful, he also has a desire to win. Bursting. The most important thing is that the label and spirit on his body reminded him of his former partner Roy. Now, Aldridge has finally waited for the Wang Zhelin he was thinking of. That's right, it's just my heart's thoughts. Because he really doesn't want to be pushed to the center position again. Hello, LaMarcus. Looking back, it was the team leader. Wang Zhelin was a little surprised. He didn't expect that the first teammate he saw in the Blazers was actually Aldridge. Unlike Lillard, who is also a rookie, Aldridge has officially entered the peak of his career at this time. Wang Zhelin couldn't help feeling a little excited when he saw such an all-star with an annual income of tens of millions of dollars coming to him. Hello, Wang, or King. You can call it whatever you want. I'm only a few hours earlier than you. It's a warm-up session, and I'm half a month later than you. If I don't train hard, I'm afraid my body will rust. Already. Hearing Wang Zhelin's words, Aldridge showed an admiring smile. Although it is not clear how strong his new teammate is, at least it can be seen from his training attitude and desire for the game, this is a good teammate. Dude, welcome to Portland. Thank you for your welcome, I hope we have a happy cooperation. Seeing that Aldridge has expressed his kindness, Wang Zhelin has also shown enough courtesy. Through the reviews of later generations, Wang Zhelin knows that Aldridge is a rare good gentleman in the league. Basically, the players, coaches, and fans who have come into contact with him give him high praise. This is a humble and polite gentleman. But after this brief contact, he can clearly feel that the boss is easy to get along with, and it seems that the Blazers' locker room should be pretty good. I don't know what happened between Aldridge and Lillard that led to the former leaving San Antonio. Maybe because of the boss status, maybe because of money, maybe because of the championship or something. It is rare to have a master beside him, and he is also an insider. Naturally, Wang Zhelin will not miss the opportunity to grow his horizons. Wang Zhelin suddenly looked at Ade with a smile. "LaMarcus. What's up?" Aldridge, who was about to change into his training uniform, turned his head curiously. "It's okay, I just think that since it's still early, how about a confrontation between the two of us? I also hope to experience the strength of the top NBA players for myself." "Well, no problem, then wait for me to warm up first." Aldridge, who is elegant and easygoing on the surface, but is actually very sensitive and cares deeply about the opinions of others, when he first heard Wang Zhelin's words, he thought that the young boy in front of him was trying to provoke his position as the boss, and his brows furrowed immediately. However, Aldridge, who was born in a single-parent family, has been warned by his mother since he was a child that glasses are the window to the soul, and they will not deceive people. So he looked at Wang Zhelin's eyes subconsciously, and found that there was no provocation in the latter's eyes, but a strong thirst for knowledge and a desire to become stronger. Aldridge put down the grudge he just mentioned. "Okay." After more than 10 minutes, Aldridge came back flushed and panting slightly. "Dude, attack first." It's not that Aldridge doesn't know that Wang Zhelin can play a very strong offense when facing defensive giants like Marc Gasol in the Olympic Games, but the boss's self-esteem does not allow him to take the first shot. "Okay, Rice-style heads up, how about 5 balls? Man, are you serious?" Now that he has watched Wang Zhelin play, he knows that the latter's advantage is that he relies on his powerful strength to traverse the basket, but now Wang Zhelin actually avoids his weaknesses and chooses a meter-style heads-up with an attacking time of 10 seconds and no more than 3 dribbles. "Of course, when I wasn't this tall, I was a defender, and we called Jordan at home." Although Ade's defense is considered good among interior players, he is completely sure to shave the opponent's head. Isn't it all the way back to the basket? It doesn't matter if you have hands. Yu reading www.yuyukansha.com. Besides, it's not very friendly to give the team boss such a disgrace in the first place, so from the very beginning, Wang Zhelin carried out this game with a knowledgeable attitude. At the same time, he wants to see how his current shooting ability will be effective against defenders above the NBA level. Garytown Jordan? There is such a place. Seeing Wang Zhelin insisting on doing this, Aldridge didn't insist any longer. When he came near the three-point line, he hit the ball to Wang Zhelin with a smile. The moment he caught the ball, Wang Zhelin's overall aura changed, and the hippie smiling face from before was nowhere to be seen. Bend your feet slightly, lower your center of gravity, buckle your knees inward, and protect the ball on the right side of your body with both hands. Good standard triple threat action. Aldridge's pupils shrank, and the slack in his heart was swept away. Is it to vote, or to rush? Since you don't move, I'll try the water first. As a defender, Aldridge moved his body first and made a fake move forward. Hee, what I've been waiting for is now. Aldridge didn't expect a scene to happen. Wang Zhelin in front of him even used his most familiar shooting position to directly choose to pull out. Is this kid so brave? Although Aldridge himself has a certain ability to make three-pointers, his favorite and best at shooting is mid-range shooting. He didn't expect that Wang Zhelin, a big center, would dare to shoot from outside the three-point line. Previously, his focus was on preventing breakthroughs, but he didn't react for a while. This confidence is there. Shoo. Sure enough, Aldridge didn't even turn his head back when he heard the crisp sound of cleaning the net from behind. Success. Episode 59. Some are happy, some are sad. Good ball. A voice came from the door. There is actually a third party. Wang Zhelin and Aldridge looked at the door in unison. Lillard. Brothers, you're in good spirits. You can play bullfighting early in the morning. Obviously Lillard should have been here for a few minutes, but Wang Zhelin and the two were too involved just now and didn't notice it. Go ahead and leave me alone. Lillard smiled and walked to the bench on the sidelines. 1 o'clock. The game continued, and Wang Zhelin once again posed 3 threats. Aldridge stretched out his hands like an eagle rushing towards food, covering Wang Zhelin. I don't believe you dare to play dry pulling. This time, after a few fake moves, Wang Zhelin forced a punch from the left, turning over to mid-range. Boom. Boom. Swish. The ball swished on the backboard for 2 laps, but it still fell into it. 2 o'clock. Wow, LaMarcus, you're going to get shaved if you're not serious. Now that the ball is in the hands of our number 36 player, what attacking method will he choose this time? Lillard, who was on the sidelines, couldn't be idle either. He took out a ball and dribbled it in his hand while acting as a temporary commentator. This time, Aldridge changed his defensive stance, with his left foot slightly forward and his right foot behind, staring into Wang Zhelin's eyes like a sharp sword. This time he's going to be serious. After the breakthrough this time, Wang Zhelin came to shoot arrows on horseback. Aldridge followed closely, raising his right hand high and causing a strong disturbance. There was a banging sound, and this time Wang Zhelin was not able to throw in. Transition of the ball, now the time before the attack is in the hands of the number 12 player, welcome to his showtime. As Lillard spoke faster and faster, Wang Zhelin could hear a certain rhythm. The racial talent is so powerful that he deserves to be the NBA soul singer who has released 4 singles in a row in the following month. Hey man, the game is about to end, you don't have a chance. After Aldridge got the ball, he looked at Wang Zhelin with bright eyes. Come on then. Okay. The next time is as Aldridge said, game over. Wang Zhelin has never successfully defended the opponent. He found that although Ade does not like confrontation, it does not mean that his physical fitness is poor. On the contrary, Ade, who debuted as the second best performer, is also very good in physical fitness. He shoots with precision, and relying on hitting is also Ade's specialty. Ade's relying on fighting is the exact opposite of his own. The former mainly relies on rhythm changes to get rid of defenders, while Wang Zhelin mainly relies on strength and confronts hard. Although Wang Zhelin thinks that Ade's playing style is more labor-saving, maybe when he gets old, he will transform like the opponent's style of play, but now he still prefers his own style of play. A real man will fight the bayonet head-on to see who can be tough to the end. This is by no means saying that Aldridge is soft, but his personal style and inclination are different. The shocking reversal broke out. Player number 12 returned 5 games in a row and won the final victory after being 0-2 behind. Let's interview him about his acceptance speech. Lillard, who had already entered the play, came to Ade with a bottle of Gatorade as a microphone. Okay, don't play tricks. Unexpectedly, the always arrogant leader of the second Master Guan would have such a childish day, making Wang Zhelin knowing people, knowing faces, but not hearts. This word doesn't seem to be quite right. Brothers, why don't you come with me too? Lillard, who was intrigued, was eager to try. Roll. Go aside. This time, Wang Zhelin and Ade made an unanimous statement at the same time. The tacit understanding between the two has already paid off. Most of the players who play Rice-style singles are small forwards and defenders, and big men are basically looking for abuse. Unless it's a duel between big men like Wang Zhelin and Aldridge. As soon as Lillard said that, it was obvious that he was trying to take advantage. TSK, forget it if you don't dare, I'm not reluctant. Looking at the two who did not agree, Lillard shook his head and walked quickly to the locker room. He hasn't even changed his training uniform yet. Over time, more and more people are in the locker room. French Pippin, Nicolas Batum, inspirational undrafted Wesley Matthews, future Fujian team player J.J. Hickson. If nothing else, the Blazers' starting lineup for the next 2012-13 season will be Wang Zhelin plus Aldridge, plus Wesley Matthews, plus Nicolas Batum plus Lillard. Aldridge, the oldest in this lineup, is just 27. This Blazers can be said to be another young guard in the league. Most of the teammates showed their goodwill towards Wang Zhelin, a rookie that the team clearly wanted to support. Except for Wang Zhelin's future Fujian teammate, when the guy came in, it was as if someone owed him 1.8 million, so he just dumped it. Give Wang Zhelin a stinky face. Che, it's like someone doesn't have a temper. Humph. Wang Zhelin, whose hot face was pressed against his cold butt, suddenly felt sullen in his heart, and turned his head with a groan. Wesley, has that guy always had such a bad temper? When he was going out, Wang Zhelin put his hand on Wesley Matthews' shoulder very spontaneously. Through Ade's introduction just now, Wang Zhelin already knew that this Matthews, who came from the undrafted draft and became a team starter through his continuous efforts, is also a good gentleman in private. But he is better than Aldridge in that Matthews knows when to lose his temper and when to rally his teammates, and he has a never-give-up spirit that is always infectious to other teammates. Some NBA players have the attribute of locker room boss, and Wesley Matthews is exactly the same. Matthews glanced back at Hickson, and then at Wang Zhelin, who was in close physical contact with him. He hesitated a little, but finally began to speak. Wang, Hickson lost a lot of money in Las Vegas this offseason, and he was cheated by his wife not long ago, and he lost another sum of money. In addition, he played well in the team. After he was traded in the middle of the season last season, he and LaMarcus have always been the team's starting number 4 and number 5, and his performance is not bad. The average is 15 points, 8.3 rebounds, and 1.2 assists. Now that you are here, he will most likely be your backup or LaMarcus, and the data will definitely shrink. What's the matter with the relationship, but what does it have to do with me? After knowing the ins and outs, Wang Zhelin looked at Hickson with not the slightest pity, but a deeper disgust. Because of his lack of strength, he was pushed out of the starting lineup. He didn't know how to reflect on himself first, but instead blamed others. No wonder he couldn't make a great deal. He was a homeless person throughout his career. The good Mr. Ade, the arrogant Mr. Lee, the old-fashioned Matthews, the three-sentence Batum, the annoying Hickson. This is Wang Zhelin's initial impression of the new teammates. Clap clap clap. When the sound came, all the Blazers players stopped their movements and turned their heads to look at the door in unison. It's the team's coach this year, Terry Stotts. Episode 60. Teammates' plans. Although Terry Stotts is a newcomer, there is a golden sign on the opponent, so all players have to respect his opinion. Offensive assistant for the championship team. Although he is a newcomer, after Tritos won the championship with the Dallas Mavericks last season, as the team's first offensive assistant, he suddenly became a sweet bun in the hearts of the management of major teams. The Blazers have entered the playoffs in a row in the past few years, but in the end they all failed. This obviously did not meet Allen's requirements. In order to change, he deliberately signed Terry Stotts. Because he believed that Terry Stotts, who was under the tutelage of the famous NBA coach Jim Kelly, naturally learned some real things from the former. After seeing that everyone had arrived, Coach Terry asked everyone to start recovery training. The training session at the beginning was to let the players get back in shape so that they could better get back to their game state, and then the tactical training for the new season began. Tactics is sometimes more grueling than physical training, because it tests a person's IQ. As the basketball league with the highest standards and the widest audience in the world, the NBA's game tactics are naturally much more complicated than those in Wang Zhelin's CBA period. For role players, they only need to remember their own, and there are not so many tactics to master. As for a star, they need more technical tactics. It can be said that except for a few people who can make a name for themselves in the NBA, there are not many stupid. Compared with other players, Wang Zhelin is undoubtedly lucky. Perhaps thanks to the player cards he inherited, especially O'Neal's superstar card, his basketball comprehension ability has risen rapidly, and his tactical training and mastery of tactics seem to be much better than the rookies of the same session. Even Lillard, who has spent 4 years in college, would not dare to say that he surpasses Wang Zhelin in tactical mastery. Therefore, when Coach Terry brought the flow tactics that the Mavericks depended on to win the championship for the Blazers, Wang Zhelin always realized which one was the fastest. Fortunately, Wang Zhelin did not appear to be too prominent because of the label of the per capita scholar of the people of the Celestial Dynasty in the heart of the Crooked Nuts. A rare tactical genius. It just unlocked a new badge. Beginning on October 8, 2012, this season's NBA preseason is in full swing. On the night of the 11th, the Lakers in the Pacific Division played at home against the Trail Blazers in the Northwest Division. It is worth mentioning that the first opponent of the Blazers' regular season is also the Los Angeles Lakers, but then the Lakers will have to go to the Rose Garden, the home court of the Blazers. I don't know how our Mr. President made the schedule. It can't be a coincidence. David, no one is more fanatic than me. Stern, I'm not, don't talk nonsense. For the vast majority of teams in the league, the preseason is about finding the feel of the main players and testing the gold content of the team's newcomers. As far as the Lakers are concerned, they completely ignore such small scenes, otherwise they would not have lost to the unknown Warriors in the last game. Lakers star Kobe Bryant missed the game tonight due to injury. As for the team's other big signing, Mr. Warcraft, who looks like a big boy on the surface, but is in fact a high-spirited Mr. Warcraft, is even less interested in the preseason, and directly announced that he will not participate in any of the 5 games of the Lakers' preseason game. Although the current Lakers are led by Son of the Wind Steve Nash and Pau Gasol, and Artest, who has been renamed, is assisted on the flank, but the last game of the 3 of them is less than 20 minutes. It can be seen that the Lakers still focus on honing rookies. For Wang Zhelin, it can be regarded as a good thing. Although he aspires to be the number 1 center in the league, Howard, who is still in his prime, has at least 90+ abilities. It is still unwise to rashly challenge the opponent. The matchup player in this game is very suitable for him. Robert Thackeray, a 2.13-meter big man selected by the Lakers with the 30th overall pick in the second round. Every year, I don't know how many heroes of the day, but when I came to the big stage of the NBA, I was completely discouraged because I met an opponent whose strength was far superior to me, so that I couldn't play again in the future. For such an opponent, Wang Zhelin is absolutely sure that he will completely destroy the opponent within the time he is on the court. This kind of guy is here to boost his confidence and improve his popularity. On the Blazers side, Aldridge, Batum, Matthews, and other old people also made it clear that they will only play 1 or 2 quarters of this game, and the rest of the performance time will be handed over to him and Lee. Rad. Good teammate. Wang Zhelin once again felt that it was not so unfortunate that he came to the Blazers. Apart from removing the center curse of the rear city that has been handed down since the last century, this Blazers team is really good. Not all teams are like the Trail Blazers. The team boss is a gentleman, easy to get along with, and doesn't like to suppress newcomers. As for the other main players in the team, they are all young guys in their mid-20s. As long as they do what they want, they either talk about games, women, or money. The hobbies of young people are always similar, which means that it's easy for everyone to get together. Except for Hickson, who was dissatisfied with Wang Zhelin because of his reduced playing time, the rest of the Blazers got along well with him. At the pre-match interview, Wang Zhelin, the only Chinese national player in the league, a new national team player, the starting center of the national team's men's basketball team, and, unexpectedly became the first to be interviewed by the audience. Compared with Wang Zhelin's, the reporters next to the other Blazers looked a bit shabby. Wow, look at Wang's dazed face. Sometimes I really wish I was a Chinese player too, that would be great. The Blazers' current roster has as many as 19 players, but when the new season starts, only 15 players will be left on the roster, 12 will enter the regular season activation list, and the rest will be in the development league. Aside from the famous players and some reporters who go to interview, the rest are insignificant characters in the league, and almost no reporters will interview them. Wang Zhelin's treatment made them exclaim, envy, jealousy, and hate. Not to mention them, even Batum and others were drooling. Matthews turned around and whispered to Batum beside him, man, if we win this game today, why don't we ask the king to go out and have a good time together tonight? Is this not good? Batum, who was born in the city of romance, was obviously moved, but he still secretly glanced at Coach Terry. I heard that Wang is still a virgin as a brother. I think it is necessary for us to help him and take off that shameful hat. Really? Wang is only 19 years old. Don't forget that men from the Chinese dynasty have always been pure and innocent, so what do you think? Wang Zhelin would never have imagined that Matthews, who usually behaves like a loyal elder, would be so degenerate. No problem. Hearing this, Batum patted his thigh and agreed immediately. At this moment, Wang Zhelin suddenly felt an eerie aura coming from behind him. He always has a bad premonition. The two of Batum were secretly laughing there. Perhaps they were already thinking about the embarrassing scene of Wang Zhelin, a pure-hearted virgin, when he first entered a nightclub. It is said that pulling the women of the good family into the water and persuading the dusty women to follow the good is a great pleasure for men. For old drivers like Batum, it is also quite fun to personally train a big boy to become a man. Wesley, what are you laughing at here? Is there anything funny? On the other side, Aldridge found out very early that his two teammates were always laughing, and he couldn't help but come up with curiosity. LaMarcus, we're going to prepare tonight. Batum spoke to Aldridge about his plan with Matthews. You guys are really immoral, remember to count me in. After the interview, Wang Zhelin found that the teammates behind him were always smiling, and a group of people were laughing at the same time. Guys, what's wrong with you? No, we just remembered some happy things. Wang Zhelin was even more confused.